there's that. And we're coming back momentarily, and we are actually right here. I want to say we're back, but you guys don't know. This is the first time. We're as if nothing's happened. We're back. This is July 31st, and we're talking about Game of Thrones again. I'm Nima.
I'm Remy. Season 7, Episode 3, which was called The Queen's Justice.
Why are you yelling? Who are you yelling at?
You.
I'm right here,
I'm
buddy.
so excited to talk about this show.
You got 100% of my attention. No need to yell. Marco, you were in our chat room just a little bit ago. I don't know if you're back or not, but thanks for hanging out for as long as you did. You're awesome. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Marco.
Remy, before we jump into like the show, do you have a spiel? Do you want to do something? Like, do you want to say hi? Anything?
Yeah, hi guys, I'm Remy. He's Nima. We meet once a week. This is pretty awkward. You're putting me on the spot. And we talk about HBO shows. And we're eventually going to talk about other kinds of shows. But we love Game of Thrones, and we just Skype once a week, talk about it, and put it on YouTube because some of these conversations are fun. But they're more fun than serious, which means if you're looking for like an in-depth analysis of the episode we just watched, I'm sure there's other channels that can help you with that. Rosewood Apocalypse.
So great.
Hi.
Rosewood.
I haven't seen you in a while.
Right.
It's been like what? BBL days? BLLs?
No, she's been in our show before.
Yeah, since
she was on
Leftovers?
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure she
so.
participated in some sort of an argument with somebody else during the Leftovers. I could be wrong, but I think Rosewood took part in that.
We got a lot of heat on that.
I love the heat that we got on that. That's one of the things I've decided is if I can be more honest about my feelings towards Game of Thrones, maybe we can get more heat because I miss the days that people called us idiots.
Nima.
What?
Please go ahead. First impression of this episode.
Loved it. This episode's not a good thing because I genuinely love this episode. Like,
dang it.
If
we're looking for some drama here, man.
I think the drama will get it between you and I because
what didn't you like about this episode?
What didn't I like about this episode? It's hard to remember right now. During our discussions, it might come up, but my genuine feeling is if this show had more episodes like this one, I would love this show a lot more. I would understand why this show is so popular across America as a whole, but because most of the episodes are the same thing. Like even there's a video on YouTube by a guy named Nerdwriter, and he talks about how this show's story, not on accident, not them doing a bad job, on purpose, is stuck in a cycle. That's the style of this show, is that it's stuck in this medieval cycle of them constantly being in war, just over and over and over. Right. There's no progression. That's the style of it. I understand. But this episode, there was just so much depth to it that I finally appreciated. And one of the things I loved is that instead of being 40 characters, they focused on a small group. And I love the hell out of it. But I don't think you liked it, right?
I liked it. It's just not. I feel like just shoving a lot into like episods. Because,
like what?
I mean, in one episode we have so much going on. Like if we go back to remember the talk we had about like the chronologies of things in the story. I mean, this dude in his armada is just destroying other boats left and right. How long does it take him to get there? Just makes me laugh. It's not important. The story's big points are moving fast, and that's awesome. That's great. I was so much looking forward towards. I was looking forward to Jon Snow meeting Tyrion. Because they've always kind of liked each other in a way, and they really haven't spent that much time together. And so like this whole meeting is relying on their short, past together. Right. And their feelings or their what's the word I'm looking for?
Their chemistry, relationship, anything?
Yeah, they have good vibes. They're getting good vibes from one another, and that's why they're like allies in this way. Mm-hmm. So I mean, Tyrion took a risk having Jon Snow coming over, and he only took that risk because he had a good feeling about him from back when they met at the wall.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, we can talk about the way the Tyrion like ideas ended up happening in this episode, but just the whole sequence, the first half, like, or the first act of this show, Jon Snow meeting with Daenerys and with Tyrion, the whole politics side of it, the going back and forth. I was on the edge of my seat, man. I was eating that shit up. It was so good.
Yeah, that was really good. Like the acting, all three of them, even Sir Davos, all of them, like they're so in character. It's so amazing. Like my first negative thought about this scene is, I was like, when did Khaleesi turn into like a bee? You know, she's kind of bitchy.
I don't know why she's coming off so standoffish.
Yeah, that's a better word, because the other word was not cool.
No, I got what you meant. Don't, you're fine.
She was just like, oh my god, like what happened to you? Too much. Like this season, you're really turning like not cool.
Well, she even said she's been through a lot, which I agree. Right? That character's been through a lot, but at the same time, maybe I'm just ignorant to it. But I feel like what she's been through as a character, and the strong character that she is, it doesn't make sense for her to all of a sudden in this season be like everybody should kneel to me. Like, why would Jon Snow have to kneel to you? That's the thing I don't understand.
Yeah, but she doesn't know either, man. Like, they're getting those ravens back and forth like once in a blue moon about, hey, this is what's going on. The king got murdered, whatever. And she just landed much closer to Westeros now. She's on the island. I didn't know it was an island until this episode, but Dragonstone is an island, I guess.
Dragonstone? Dragonstone is a volcanic glass.
Right. Oh, no, Dragon Glasses. Dragonstone is where she's at.
Oh, okay. Then I mixed them up. Okay.
Yeah, her family lair or whatever. She just got there, and so you get closer to danger, and you get more nervous, and you start being so. Maybe it's just really, really well planned and logical writing for that character in particular. The thing that bugged me about that whole part as well, beyond her being kind of like too arrogant or whatever, is she's seen dragons. She walked into a fire without a scratch or a burn,
twice.
I should say. Twice or probably more. Not like her brother, who just is not cool with fire, died anyways. And she's like, you're telling me there's like dudes, a dead army walking around? That's nonsense, dude. Again, you have dragons,
right?
You can't. Yeah. So why? Her first thing should have been like, oh, well, that's interesting. She shouldn't be like, no, that's nonsense. Even Tyrion shouldn't have,
Yeah, but
he believes him.
But I mean, Tyrion came back to it. Tyrion acknowledged that he basically responded to it not in a proper way. And Rosewood, I don't know if you're still around or not, but your comment is absolutely true. That's one of the things I love about this show is the strong female characters that it has. But the female characters dying in this episode, we haven't actually seen anybody die yet. But I assume
no one's died. Yeah,
the people that they conveyed are gonna die. But I love that. I love that these characters that I thought were just badasses from the first moment you see them seasons ago are being killed off in this tragic, like really sad but important dramatic ways. Like every death that was being conveyed in this episode, I was like, this is why I love Game of Thrones. Like making a mother have to watch your daughter die is just
in that way.
Right. It's such a
so good. It was done so well. And the acting, man, it's the acting.
Oh,
again, they moved fast with this episode, but the very few very, very important scenes for the plot moving on had like 2 to 3 to 4 characters at once, and that is what's impressive about these actors now who are like really owning it. So because if the acting was not that good, we'd think it's cheesy or we wouldn't really believe it.
Correct.
But like it was so good. The daughter crying, scared as shit. The mother scared and angry, and then you got Cersei, who's just like, again, like, wow, can't wait to see you die.
Dude, so here's one of the ideas that I have, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that thinks this. That scene, obviously, it was one of the most perfect scenes I've seen in TV ever, mostly because of the acting, because that's all it was, like 3 or 4 people just talking. But imagine how much more evil that whole plan would be if there was no poison. So Cersei is just making...
Okay, wait, you're saying the poison makes it not as evil?
Yeah, because like the poison, no matter what, she's gonna die, right? She's gonna die at some point soon, is what she said. But imagine that whole thing just being a ploy just to make the mother suffer, because she's thinking on the back of her mind that my daughter's gonna die at some point. Right. So for eternity, she's waiting for her daughter to die in front of her. I feel like that's more of a Game of Thrones torture-ish, but obviously I don't think they're gonna do that.
Again, it's medieval. They used, I mean, back in the day, if there was people that evil, which I'm sure there were, it was like that. But that makes me think. There's 2 poisonings in this episode, and both the poisons come from Cersei, essentially.
Yeah, but one is done in a humane kind of way, and one is done in
but we don't know
torturous kind of way.
We do not see, whatever her name is, the older lady. We don't see her die. So Lady Janie's just lying. Yeah, she's from the Tyrells. No,
it's House Tyrion. No, House Tyrell. You're right.
I don't know if it's Tyrell or the other one.
Anyway, oh God, I wrote it down somewhere. I forgot where I wrote it down. Lady Olenna. I could be wrong, but anyway.
Right.
Jamie has Jamie ever lied in a way that's mean to anybody? I don't think that's part of his character.
Yes, but again, we have to almost assume that the poison was made by the same person, which was Cersei's new Meister, or whatever they call them. He made one to replicate what Cersei's daughter had to go through dying. So maybe she was lying. Maybe it's not going to do that, and it's just going to be a long, torturous death, and there's no poison. Or maybe it kills her slowly with that. It's so confusing what I'm saying. Jamie, the poison that he gives to Lady...
Let's say Olenna. I could be
the old lady.
Yeah.
Maybe that poison is going to kill her in atrocious ways. We don't know.
Maybe, but if we're thinking about Rosewood, I'm not forgetting your comments because everything you just said is awesome. But if Cersei is deciding not to poison the daughter, that adds the little bit of depth that I want this character to have. I want this character to not be just pure evil, to have some sort of additional motive behind it. Like, for example, imagine if she didn't use a real poison, her motive could be that she doesn't want to kill another mother's daughter because she's been through it.
No, Cersei, dude. No, she's just like, I can't, like,
she needs to have depth. Like, she can't just be pure evil.
How that scene could be more evil is only for us speculating whether or not that poison is going to kill her quickly or slowly or not at all.
Right.
And then they're just going to be in front of each other, slowly dying of some kind of... Because she tells the mountain, I think his name is, the zombie
the mountain.
Guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if she tells him or someone else, but I think she asks someone to torture them slowly or something. I didn't hear that part.
No, she said make sure the knights change out the torches, so so the mother could see her daughter, pass, so she doesn't miss anything basically. Which, by the way, every one of those characters, that whole family, obviously, I think I forgot their name.
Oberyn was the
not the dad, but the lover.
Killed
every one of them is so badass.
No, that's their dad.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. Hopefully Rosewood can help us on that one, but I'm pretty sure.
Because every one of them, their last name is Sands except him.
Sand Snakes.
Sure. But in Rosewood, that's one of the main problems I have with Khaleesi, is maybe that she's been using freeing the people and slaves as a motive to get into power, whatever it is. But there is a sharp transition into this season where she's just... she's Cersei just on the other side.
Well, maybe she's actually, that makes no sense. I was going to say maybe she's just bad at handling pressure, but she's been through a lot already. Why does she? I don't know. Like, I think the scene was made in an attempt to make us feel uncomfortable about Cersei, to guide our mood towards the future of, you know, the story happening. But everyone watching this was like, okay, I love Khaleesi, but Jon Snow doesn't have to like bend the knee.
But here's the thing. That's one of the reasons. Like in the last couple episodes, I had a lot of problems with the way Khaleesi was acting, even at the beginning of this episode. But I feel like that was completely redeemed later in the second and third act of this series, of this show episode, because Khaleesi and Jon Snow's chemistry later on, especially in the scene that they're looking over the cliff and looking at the water, and they're discussing, basically it's almost like a negotiation where they both know what they want. That was an incredible scene, because it made me wonder, A, between the relationship that the two of them could have, and B, which way is it going to go? Because I immediately took it as, oh, this is going to end tragically, where they're both going to die for each other without getting to either one of their goals. That's why I'm thinking it's going to go. Yeah.
I think that whole thing was just masterfully done, really, because it's one of the biggest like plot scenes, like scenes that moves the story forward. Finally, Jon Snow, who may or may not, but probably does, and it was probably proven in a previous episode, is related via blood to Daenerys. First time they meet, she has not heard about the army of the dead yet. Winter is coming. She didn't associate that. That's why I'm upset. Like, she knows there's dragons around, which are like way in the past, you know. But so were the White Walkers in the story of their land.
You're right.
And she just was like, no, that's not real. But maybe she's just being really cautious.
Or selfish.
Why selfish?
Because she cares about her own problems. She thinks somebody else's problem is nowhere near as important or plausible as her own problem.
Yeah, but by now she has a grasp of the map and how fast things can move, and armies, how fast armies can move and stuff. So, yeah, maybe they're only like maybe they're still 6 months away, which is very unlikely, because it looks like they were walking pretty fast when we saw them in the first episode of this season.
Right.
How far are they?
Well, I mean, based on this show's last couple of episodes, everything happens over a matter of a weekend. So I don't know, man. Like one guy's giving a speech, the next weekend he's attacking another castle somewhere far away. But one of the things I found really interesting, maybe I didn't pick it up in the last seasons ever, in this episode, they mentioned the Seven Kingdoms was referred to as country at least 3 times. And it kind of made me wonder, because, oh wait, I might be out of focus. No, I'm not. It made me wonder that if they're considering this world of theirs as a country, what else is happening to the rest of their world? Like, where is everybody else? If this is just one country.
It's not. It's a continent.
I understand that, but 2 different people, at least 3 different people, refer to it as a country in this episode. Which is, it was kind of jarring to me. It's not a term that's out of place, because it belongs even in that era. But I'm kind of wondering, it made me wonder about the full scope of it, which I've heard about the books. I've heard the books have a much bigger scope than the show even could possibly have. But it now makes me wonder about what it could be like.
You mean like if the intro could zoom out even more, and we can see more of the globe that they're on? Or maybe in their case, like maybe it's a flat Earth in their case, who knows?
Sure, but I mean, not even then. I'm talking about, like, there has to be politics going on the other side. There has to be wars, and like winter's coming everywhere, right? And White Walkers should be everywhere. So how is the rest of the world dealing with this?
But that's the thing. Like, you can't create a world that is like that big, because then you don't have frames to like create something within. Like,
you're right.
You know, it's like Star Wars. Star Wars only happens in like one galaxy. It doesn't happen in other galaxies. It just happens in one galaxy.
Okay.
Far away. You know, so yes, if this is part of a Earth-like place, yes, we only seen like a continent of it, Westeros, and then the other part of the sea, and we don't know what's beyond, because who gives a crap at the moment? There's dragons and White Walkers. And Bran and Sansa meet. That was a good scene, man.
That was a good scene, but Bran is kind of Bran is kind of
he's
awkward.
Totally, he's like stoned now. He's of age. Yeah, he's like, yeah.
He's like, I'm the three-eyed raven.
I'm the three-eyed raven. No big deal.
Right. I totally got the no big deal thing out of it. He was like, don't worry about it. I'm kind of a big deal right now.
That's nice. It's nice to see you, but I really need to talk to Jon to tell him that he's related to Khaleesi, or he would call her Daenerys Targaryen.
Isn't that exactly what he said, though? He's like, I really need to talk to Jon.
Yeah, it's like, that's nice to see you too, but I got to talk to Jon.
Yeah, I feel like there were parts of, you asked me about which parts of this episode I didn't like. It was moments like that where it felt like
that was good. You didn't feel something when they hugged?
No, I felt it, and I felt it when God, what's her name? Sensei? Cersei, sorry. I apologize, all the Game of Thrones fans.
Cersei is the evil queen.
No, the
Sansa.
good one. Sansa.
Okay,
See, I was close. Yeah. When Sansa is sitting there looking at Bran, and like she's almost giddy. I love that. They were sitting next to each other and then next to that tree, and they're talking. I thought that was great chemistry to show that.
I thought the tree was going to open its eyes.
Did the tree ever open its eyes? In season 1, did it?
Oh yeah, no, it did. We've seen the tree open its eyes before.
Okay.
Not just that tree. There's another big tree, bigger one somewhere.
I only remember that one from season 1.
You know what?
Nobody can tell me.
Mariah's telling me that whatever his name is, the guy who wrote this,
George R.R. Martin. I could be wrong, but I think that's it.
Yeah, I think so too. He was most likely, or maybe there's facts backing this up, fan of Tolkien.
Yeah, he is. He's already said that he is. Yeah.
All right, but Sam is Samwise, and then this Sam in this story of Game of Thrones. Sam pretty much saves the day in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, he does.
This Sam is probably going to save the day too,
Based on what? Based on just same name?
Yeah, like it's a big wink to his, like maybe it's not, but he came up with a name, so might be a wink to his, the fact that he likes Tolkien and Lord of the Rings.
I feel like out of all the things that George R.R. Martin may have done well, I saw Rosewood's comment. I feel like the names are his weakest part. Like, he has a character named Bran, and he has a character named Bronn. Like,
yes.
Why would you...
But that's the kind of details that makes the show that much more interesting.
The fact that there's similar names? Like,
because everyone that watches Game of Thrones at one point were like, Bran and Bronn, which one is which? Oh, that guy. It just gives like a little, I feel
like that's not a good thing.
No, it's a great thing for getting people hooked more.
Confusing the character names?
Not confusing, just making them so close that it makes you think twice, and it's better to make you think once. If you're going to think 400 times a day about Game of Thrones, it's better than only thinking about it 399 times.
I feel like if you're if you're spending time thinking about instead of how good the show is, if you're thinking about which name is which, I feel like that's not a good thought. That's not a good experience for your users.
It doesn't matter because it makes, even if it's bad experience for us. What's up, Marco? Even if it's a bad experience,
you're saying it's basically like your argument is
it's
no
like
such thing as bad publicity
that you hate that gets stuck in your head. And there's no such thing as bad publicity. Yeah, something like that.
Okay. I understand and I respect that.
Yeah. How long do you think the surgery took with Sam and Jorah?
Overnight. That's the kind of feeling I got.
Why am I obsessed with how much time takes in this story?
Because here's the thing. You're obsessed because it's a flaw that the show has. And the only time they've done...
Yeah, but it's kind of dumb of me to point out that flaw because it's still a storytelling. You can't have everything perfect.
Well, you can achieve they've attempted to show passage of time, and they did it with Sam. I think it was in episode 1 of this series where they showed him doing the same task over and over again, right? So you got it that he's stuck there. He's doing this. It's been many nights and many weeks. They did it. As much as I didn't like the technicality of that scene,
right?
I got the idea. I was like, oh look, they're actually finally showing passage of time the way it should be. because they haven't done it ever before or ever since.
So, okay, now that brings me back to my same fascination about the time going on in this show. The Greyjoy guy, what's his name again? The asshole?
Which one?
The one that wants to stick a finger in the bum of Cersei.
Jesus, man, you go super hardcore immediately. He's done it. He's done so many things. He's like killed main characters, and the thing that you're thinking about, oh yeah, he totally wants to finger that chick. Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna look up his name. I think it's
Euron.
Oh,
it's Euron.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so he captures them, brings him to Cersei. And then within the same episode, he's like kicking ass at sea again.
Right. He's like, I gotta go. I'll be back.
I gotta take care of these guys, destroy their fleet.
Which, by the way, now that we're about that sequence, that set up something that I'm actually really intrigued about. What's gonna happen in the next few episodes? Because now, our short friend has proved to not only be wrong, but like. Dramatically wrong, where so many people have died, and Daenerys is no longer has this powerful army because of him, because of the bad advice that he gave.
No, he had a good idea, but Cersei and Jaime are just better at war, man. Like Tyrion's only experience with war was Blackwater,
and as Jaime said, he's learned from the bad mistakes that he's had in the past. And another reason why he's one of my favorite characters, because he seems like a good guy just on the bad side of the story. But like, I want to know what's going to happen. God, I keep getting... Oh, wait, we got a subscriber. Thanks, Sim. I've been wondering what this beep thing is, and I just figured out it was the alert that I completely forgot about.
Thanks, guys.
I lost my train of thought. I gotta make that volume a little bit lower for the alert. No, I wonder what's gonna happen in the next episode. Is the trust gonna be gone between that small group of the hands of the queen and the queen herself? Daenerys. I'm talking about Daenerys. And
because we don't know, because I mean, obviously she's gonna be upset. That's where it's going for sure.
And I will love that. God, Lord Baelish picture just came up on my screen, and he's also a badass, and we learned a lot more about him in this episode too. Like, he finally explained his way of thinking, which is brilliant. Like,
his detail.
He was telling Sansa that the way you should lead and the way you should think is consider every possibility at all times ever.
Yes.
And think about what great advice that is, because I mean, he could still be conniving, and I think he still is being conniving. But when you think about his character in the last 7 seasons, that solid piece of advice explains his character at all times.
Yeah, he's never shocked. He's on the chessboard. He's playing chess with himself. But I guess, do you think he told that to Sansa to make her trust in him more because he's feeling the cold shoulder there, the friend zone, or is he like literally like definitely in love with her and he's just giving her fatherly advice? Because that is good advice in this whole universe.
No, it's incredible advice, and that's one of the best things about Lord Baelish, is that he threads that line of constantly being like, oh, is he doing a good job? Is he moving this story along for the positive ways, or is he just being an asshole and just in it for himself the whole time? He threads that line so perfectly. And if you've ever watched the actor who plays him, and I don't know his name, and I kind of don't want to know more about him, but man, the way he talks, he has this charismatic way that...
Oh, in the show, you mean, right?
No, in real life, it's almost... Yeah, it's almost worse than Lord Baelish. Like, he's toned it down for this character to the point that when he's giving an interview, like, if anybody has time, go rewatch his recap of the show. He does a recap of the show as just the actor, and he's explaining it, and you're watching it. First of all,
you think it's Baelish, right?
A little bit worse, because obviously you're drawn to the way this guy talks and the way he's explaining it. But at the same time, you're like, holy shit, he's ripping me off. I'm going to die in a moment just because of the way he's talking. And it's just like, it makes perfect sense why they chose him to play this character.
Dude, I think he's like one of my favorite like characters in this show. I really think, and I'm starting to see that more and more, the like the similarities, not just the character himself, but where that character is in the story of Game of Thrones. I compare him to Snape in Harry Potter.
I can't. I haven't seen or read.
Oh, okay. All right. It's a pretty good story, man. You should check that out. So I think that he's going to die in the story, but I think he's going to die in order to help the good cause, especially Sansa. It's going to be like a love sacrifice kind of thing. I really think that's how Baelish is going to go.
Okay. Okay, I understand that. Did you just ruin Harry Potter's for me?
Yeah.
Got it.
Oh man, I ruined Harry Potter for everyone who's watching this.
Yeah, it's not like it's a book and a movie that's been out for like 8 years now. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm the last one.
7 books or whatever.
It's all right.
Sorry. He doesn't die. Snape doesn't die.
Yeah, he totally does. You just gave it away. I remember when Harry Potter came out, there was all this spoilers of people walking around the libraries and yelling "Snape kills Dumbledore." I think that was a thing.
It's amazing.
But
amazingly not cool.
Dude, one of the things in any movie, any show ever, if they ever shoot a guy, I don't mean shoot, I mean with a camera shooting.
All right.
If a guy or a woman is walking away from the camera and the camera is just following them behind, that has to be one of the sexiest shots you could ever do. It always looks badass, no matter what the situation is.
Because it makes you feel like you're walking behind that
Exactly. Person. And you're capturing and you're taking in this world around you as you're following this character, right? And they had an incredible one in this episode with Jaime walking all the way up House Tyrell to get to that Lady Olenna.
Really cool.
It was incredible. Really cool. Like, the music was amazing, and you're watching Jaime go up, and your mind is filling in about how big this castle is because he's just climbing and going down hallways. Like, that's what I'm saying. This episode is why Game of Thrones is good. It's not the crazy big battles. It's not the sex, and it's not the evilness. It's this small little thing and just like small little details about the world that just your mind goes crazy trying to fill in the blanks. Like, this is why fantasy exists, not the craziness that they try to do for the rest, 6 episodes.
You're talking about, like, really, like, feeling like you're commander of this army that just took over this castle and walking to see the boss of that castle. Yeah, it really puts you in that perspective. It was really cool. I really love that shot.
This episode had so much world building in it that you're just like, you're realizing you're in this world that's been existing for hundreds of years.
Well, yeah, man, you can't, like,
I feel like I haven't gotten that feeling from many episodes in this show, but I got it big time in this episode, where I'm just like, as people are talking, I'm looking at this world, and I'm like, why would they build it that way? Why is there, like, Dragonstone is the name of the castle that they're at, right?
Dragonstone, man.
Like, the main gate, and then there's that amazingly long, gorgeous walkway over the water. Like, I was just like blown away. I was like, this is great design. Not just
that, like that's just design, but that's also like, finding these places in the world to shoot that, because we all know that Jon Snow is there to, like, mine out dragonglass, and there's definitely, like, those awesome, cool looking line formations of layers of
obsidian,
part of that land they're filming this in, and they found these things like, that's what dragonglass could look like. So let's put that shot in there. It looks really cool and fancy.
As far as I know, like, maybe people in the chat can tell us, Marco or Rosewood or anybody else, obsidian is a real thing, right? It's a rock formation that happens from volcanic rocks and pressure. I could be wrong, because I know it exists big time in fantasy and in sci-fi. I just don't know if it exists in real. Obsidian.
Obsidian.
Yeah, dragonglass, they call it obsidian too, and it exists. I've seen it in so many different books and movies and everything else. I just don't know. I think it's a real thing. I could be wrong.
Interesting. I like it.
What else you got, Remy?
What else happened?
What is that? What are you? Oh, you're dragging something across your table, aren't you?
No, I was just twisting my beer cup, and it was, like. Anyways.
It sounded like an earthquake. Go on.
I can't see the comments anymore, but.
Why can't you see the comments?
Was talking. It's not Tyrell. It's Tarly.
Who?
I think. Marco was saying it's Tarly, not Tyrell. Tyrell is someone else. I think Tarly. House Tarly.
Okay.
Anyways, so great. What's his name? The boy Greyjoy that fled last episode.
Theon?
Theon.
Boy Greyjoy.
I think he gets picked up by one of the surviving ships of his crew.
Yeah, I got the feeling that there were Greyjoys as well.
Why did they pick him up? No, they were Greyjoys, but why would they pick him up if they were on either side? Actually, if they're on the bad guys, the uncle side, Euron's side, they would pick him up to, you know, have him as a prisoner. But
no, I think it was just
fled.
Right. It was one of, well, they assumed that he fled, and that's why he was treated so badly when he was picked up. Everybody literally walked over him. So, like, they know that he fled. They know that he was a coward. So that's also another character that we'll see where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, he has to redeem himself, right? He's come close to redeem. Actually, he has redeemed himself once already. Last season. So what is he gonna do now? Because his sister more than likely is gonna die because of him, right?
No, they're not gonna. I mean, who might want to rescue her? Then they would keep her for that.
Theon should.
Yeah, but for them, Cersei's probably thinking of her as like a bargaining chip for later. So she's not gonna kill her. But at the same time, she might, because is she worth anything to anyone anymore other than Theon, who's a coward anyways?
I mean, that's
maybe
a
she's
good question.
She's probably gonna get enslaved. We're probably not gonna hear of her ever again. She's probably done for that whole story.
That'd be a shame, because she's interesting. She's an intriguing character.
She is. She's one of the good ones.
I assume you mean ass cam. I assume you're talking about Jaime's ass, because I can't think of any other ass that was shown in this episode. But I mean, go crazy. Dude's a good-looking guy, so they showed his ass. So
you're reading a comment that hasn't appeared on our feed yet.
Yeah, don't look at the feed. Look at the regular chat. Like, that's the one I look at.
So I'm so silly. So silly. Okay. Ass cam. Insert jawbreakers here.
Marco said they're on Yara's crew.
Was there an ass cam? What? I don't understand the comment.
Unless I'm mistaken, Rosewood is talking about the blowjob scene. With
yeah, okay.
I mean, that's where my mind went. Rosewood. I don't know if you're talking about something else.
I forgot about that scene. Yeah, yeah. So Jaime and Cersei. Thanks, Rosewood. It brings us to another good part of the story. They're really close now.
What do you mean? They've always
Well, I mean, they're more than that, because lately Jaime's been friend zoned. I feel like, right?
Right? Maybe. I mean, she's had other priorities, which is taking over the world.
She's been mad at him.
Right, for the death of her daughter.
Yeah, so maybe all this, like, she's got revenge now, is making her, like, ready to be horny and whatnot. And he's like, whoa, hey, sup, sister? You know, weird.
Sup, sister? No. Let's go. I mean, I want to talk about that because that's an interesting point, but I'm still stuck. Who's Yara? And Marco and everybody, you should know that I'm the worst when it comes to remembering characters and specifically their names. So you got to help me out. Which one's Yara?
Was that one of the Sand Snake sisters? I don't think so. They are Yara's crew.
I don't think so. I could be. I mean,
Nima, are you looking what Yara is?
Oh, I should just do that. Yeah, the power of the internet. Let me look it up. Hold on.
Yep.
Keep talking, Remy.
Oh, hey, well, I'm just gonna take this time to say thanks, guys. Marco, Rosewood.
We're an idiot. It's Yara is Theon's sister.
Oh,
God.
Yeah.
Sorry, Marco. We're way behind, but that's.
So does that mean that boat made it? I don't understand. Or did they just jump ship like Theon did, and then they found a boat and got away?
a few ships survived. They've already told you that. So it just happens that.
Well, yeah, but does that mean Greyjoy's there now?
Which one?
Theon. Because you know how. Okay, there's another thing I want to talk about. The Red Priestess.
Okay.
Don't you think she would have made that whole scene with Jon Snow and Daenerys much easier if she was there, advising her queen? Like, listen to that. This guy died and came back, so it's for real. And
well, I mean,
I've seen these bad walkers, and they're real too.
But I mean, she's not. she's not that close of a hand to the queen. So she's not in a position to maybe give that advice, but she made it also clear that she shouldn't be in the room. Like, she shouldn't be there when they meet, which is, another...
Well, no, she tells Lord Varys when they're on top of the mountain looking at the sea after Jon Snow got off the boat. She tells Varys that the reason she's not there to welcome them is because her and Jon Snow left on bad terms, and Sir Davos too, which is one of the coolest characters, by the way.
Right.
And then she tells him she's gonna leave, and then they have an exchange that leaves Varys all kind of like dumbfounded, like, oh shit.
Because Varys threatened her, and I don't even understand why he threatened her.
I don't know if he threatened her. He told her, like, go away and stay and don't come back. I don't know why he would say that to her. And what she tells him is like, no, I'm going to go away because she probably has to do some business. And then she's going to come back. And then she tells something, and Varys is like...
Well, I mean... I definitely took it as a threat, because he said you should go away, and my advice is that you don't come back because he's worried about her safety, which is like, it's like the mafia saying it's a nice house you got there, it'd be a shame if it gets burned down. That's a threat.
Right. Sure.
So, and obviously she responded that, I'm going to come back because I'm going to die in this country, which is another situation where they said country, and she said just like you will. And that's one of those things that you would take it as a threat.
But why? She's a foreigner. She's not from there. She's from across the sea. Why would she want to? Why would she say, I'm going to die here? Remember a few seasons ago when there's a scene of her, and we learned that she's actually an old
because she takes
lady.
Off the necklace, right?
Right. We don't know how old she is. We don't know what she's seen. We don't know who she's been with, and she's probably a much, much, much bigger character that has a much, much, much bigger role to play in the ending of that whole show.
Well, I mean, we already know that she has a huge role. I mean, if she has that connection with the Lord of Light, I believe that's what they call him, or like this god character, and if she sees visions, like she knows things. Like she might be thinking that it's prophecy that she should come back and die here because she knows things are coming. So like for example, when she's making a threat, is it a threat, or is she just saying that, hey, you and I are both going to die here because she's seen the future?
I don't know. That's good stuff right there.
I'm telling you, they need to have more episodes like this. This is good shit.
Yeah, because this got the story going, man.
Yeah, and it's not just wasting time, which I feel like some of the episodes have.
Well, there's always some waste. There's a scene, but I don't remember which one it is that made me feel like it was a waste of time in there.
In this episode?
I think it's the beginning of the episode. I don't know who, I don't know what. It just made me feel like, what?
Which even the very, very beginning of this episode had this whole previously on thing. Right. And even that was efficiently and beautifully done.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It better than, because in the last couple episodes they've done this whole previously on thing, and you're just simply sitting there. You're like, yeah, this is boring, and it's horribly edited, and it just doesn't make any sense. But this one, just enough frames for you to know exactly what's going to happen, short enough, epic enough that you're just like, it's done. I want to see the episode now. It was a perfect teaser. Like whoever directed this episode and whoever had the editing job of this episode, man, just take on the rest of the show. Just do it yourself because you're doing a kick-ass job. Like whoever's the other directors, maybe they should just,
I'm sure that he's watching Nemo, or he or she is watching this.
Yeah, just like Moby and everybody else. We got a big following.
Hey, Moby,
it's been a while. We should say hi.
It's been a while since we mentioned you. We know you're watching.
Rosewood said obsidian is simply a black glass made from volcanic ash. I kind of want to get one. I feel like rocks and formations, things like that are fascinating. There's a touristy place near my house that sells all sorts of crazy rocks and things like that.
Well, we're next to like Arizona is a huge like rock and rocks and stuff.
Whoa. Marco said Varys had history with the Lord of Light, and he don't like it that much. Dude, you gotta expand.
What did we miss? Yeah,
right,
we missed
right.
Something.
Like that sounds fascinating. Is this something that they've mentioned in the show, or is this a book thing,
or theories?
Who, I mean, while Marco might be, because he's going to be on a delay, so before he can respond, what kind of interactions have we had with Lord of Rights so far? It's been interactions. Like, how, in what ways have we crossed paths?
Well, the latest one is the Hound, Clegane, Sir Clegane.
Yeah.
We're looking into the fire and seeing these things.
Right. Seeing the vision of...
Yeah.
Okay.
See, like, it's cool. I love this show. I love this story. There's, like, armies going on to fight for their own king's or queen's interest or whatever. And then there's, like, a smaller group of rebels, armies... trying, like, getting it together to fight the bigger threat, which is the winter coming. Winter. I love that. I think that's so cool.
I think... Oh, man, I'm trying to think. Because, like, Melisandre she definitely has a connection with the Lord of Light. The guy who's with the Hound now. You know, the one who showed him the image in the fire.
Yeah, the priest and the guy that keeps getting resuscitated.
That one, right? So all these characters have a big history.
Yeah. Keep saying what you're saying. I'm reading it.
I'm just trying to think of just digging in my memory to see if I can figure out when Yara's talked about Lord of Light. But I mean, the thing is,
Yara. Wait, hold on. Yara hasn't talked about the Lord of Light.
Varys. Sorry, not Yara. Varys. But he was...
names, man. They're so close to one another.
I hate it. He was such a character that I easily was like, oh, he's intriguing, but I would immediately push him off my brain in the earlier seasons. And then all of a sudden he becomes this main hand of the queen that I kind of regret not remembering most of his past now. Because I've been just pushing it off as like, hey, this character doesn't matter. I mean, he's intriguing, he's creepy, but, you know, just move on to the next thing. But then all of a sudden is somebody that matters.
Do you remember, you're talking about Varys still, right?
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember, I think episode 1, we see Varys and Littlefinger together. Like, they've been together, they're almost partners in a way. They're together. Well, not together, but like they
were advisors, weren't they?
They
were
advisors,
both...
Yeah. So they have a lot going on, but Marco answered your question earlier in email.
Did I miss it?
When Varys describes his upbringing story to Tyrion, I think a few seasons back, when he gets this guy out of the box, the guy that cut his nuts off when he was a kid, and and I think that guy's, I think that had to do with the Lord of Light. I think the guy that tortured Varys was a follower or whatever. Something. I don't know. Maybe that's why Varys doesn't like Melisandre, because he's got this bad view of the Lord of Light.
Right. That's what Marco's saying, which kind of makes sense. Then this makes me kind of feel like I have to go back and watch those seasons, because Marco's saying, do you guys remember the sorcerer that Varys captured and put in the box?
Oh my god. All right, I'm going to read Marco's comment. That sorcerer is the one who chopped his things off, and he threw that in the flames, and Varys said he heard something whispered in the flames. That's amazing. I don't remember that at all. This
is making me feel really uncomfortable. I just want to make sure everybody...
What did Varys hear? What did he hear?
I don't know, man. This is like gross, and like I feel pain.
The burning part or the cutting part? Because I guess the burning part you won't
all of it. I want to move on from this topic, but it's important to the story.
Moving on. So wait.
What?
I remember a few episodes back on this, I was telling you that I wish they would somehow figure out a way to make the fire talk or whatever for the audience, so we see what it is.
So you could actually see some images in the fire.
I don't think they will do that, because if they try it, there's a big chance it might end up like cheesy and not cool.
I imagine that's the main reason they haven't done it. Right. Because like it's been somewhat done in the past. And it takes a special kind of scene, and literally, I'm talking about the whole scene, to be able to pull it off really well. And with what they're trying to do, those kind of scenes are not necessary, and they would be negatively impacting the whole show to shoot a whole scene like that. Because if you remember, like the thing that this show is inspired by Tolkien's writing. Tolkien has had images in fire worlds and things like that before.
Yeah.
But in his universe, those are detailed events that happen. There's a lot that happens in those images. So like when they made Lord of the Rings, they got to shoot whole scenes that way. They got to show images that way. But with this, it seems like, to me, I haven't read the books, but it seems like these are minor things that they're supposed to be vague, that, you know, you're seeing little snippets.
Yeah.
So you can't
I also don't think they have the budget like Lord of the Rings.
No, dude, they have a
like,
crazy
probably
budget.
Not even like a tenth of that budget.
No, they have a crazy high budget. And remember, visual effects back then were a lot more expensive than they are now. It's just that shooting and post-production visual effects is a lot more expensive now because we can do more. But if you want to do the same thing, it's a lot cheaper.
I guess so. This also means that this show, the storytelling, is banking on good acting, and it's working.
Oh, of course, yeah. But at the same time,
I think I'm happier seeing like the Hound's reaction and description of what he's seeing in the fire than seeing it for myself. It just leaves so much room for imagination.
I completely agree. Like one of the things that this show does really well is pick out what they should show you as opposed to what you should just imagine yourself. And that's done for multiple reasons. I imagine it's for budget reasons, but also because nothing fills in a fantasy world better than your imagination does. Because the things with fantasy, since they're supposed to be fantasy, once you show the image of it, people like me and people like you will either believe it or they'll immediately be like, yeah, that looks fake and this is dumb. Now I'm no longer part of this world.
Well, we know it's fake.
No,
if something's fake, we know it's fake. If something is CGI, like a big, I guess you're right. Because I was thinking about this watching Jaime, take the siege capture the Tarly's their castle thing.
Right.
That looks like a real castle. I mean, from far away, you can tell some of it's CGI and stuff. But when we walk behind Jaime in all these really fancy places, these are real.
Yeah, those are real.
400 to 500 years old buildings somewhere in Europe or something.
Or sets that they built.
Maybe that.
But I mean, the thing with But the thing with Game of Thrones is, if you're interested in not ruining, but finding out more about the behind the scenes of it, you should really look up the visual effects reels for the last few seasons, because the CGI that they've done are in parts that you would not expect, and that's why CGI is becoming so good. Is a lot of times you're not even noticing anymore. In the past, it was a thing where it's just so jarring that you're just like, oh, that looks stupid fake. Right. But nowadays, they get to do certain things so well that you're just like, it's years gone by and you're like, oh shit, that was not even real. Like, that's where we are now.
Yeah, I know.
And like, I don't want to get into science fiction stuff, but Disney has technology now that footage like us, they've been able to make footage like us, like camera shitty.
Well, like Rogue One, man. Rogue One was like...
No, not even that. Real-time CGI of people talking. Like, they literally can take this footage of this show, push it through the computer, and make you sitting there say whatever the hell they want. It was creepy, and it's weird, and that's where we are now, man. Like, CGI... It's a thing that as long as you have decent money and you have a director that knows when to use it and when not to use it, you will never notice it anymore.
I feel like this kind of CGI advancement in technology is only going to be for selling you shit. It's not. Who's going to waste their time making a show like ours in CGI? Who's going to waste their resources doing that unless they're trying to make a lot of money from it, because that technology is not that cheap right now.
It's not that cheap right now, but
you need like a huge, expensive computer to make it happen, or many computers in a row.
Right now you do. But remember, the thing is, for us to do something, Rosewood and Marco, we'll come back to this conversation shortly, but like, for us to do those things, those are right now. And don't even think about 5 years from now. 10 years from now, all this technology will be free. Like...
Right, sure. I have no doubt of that. But
so again, then in that case, like, anybody can do it. You and I can do it, because like
why would we sit there and manufacture a conversation?
For either to push it even more, because like we're doing it now with like digital cameras and through streaming. That's just pushing it a little bit more. Like we can be, for people that are going to have virtual headsets on, we can be in the room with them. That's not going to be real footage. That's going to be computer generated stuff. It's just that.
But that's cool. But if it's, I get the the fact, the technology being able to, like, you know, just with that many more pixels now, and the capturing equipment, hardware, and then the software to edit all, you can make this look as real as possible. And then you can do the same thing now with the sound. So a computer can analyze my voice and make that fake video version of me say anything they want. That's fine. That's happening, period.
You should really watch those tech demos that the Disney released. It's creepy.
But if you talk about VR, for example, where we could have this conversation in a room full of people, or in people's living rooms or offices or whatever, please no bedrooms. If we can do that, we'd make it so that, yeah, we're sitting there, but it's just going to be sensors picking us up and making us 3D in someone else's room, but the audio is going to stay the same because we're having this real conversation. My point is, why would you manufacture and create fake conversations? We're losing audience from this. But
we'll talk about this later, but like, who says it's any more fake than us talking now? Like, it doesn't matter. But let's go back to Game of Thrones, and then it's been 56 minutes, so we got to wrap it up.
There's like, just, if it's manufactured, it's manufactured. What's the point of wasting time doing that, unless you're trying to sell something?
If it's done in real time, you're not wasting any more time than you are right now speaking.
But if it's done in real time, yeah, the computer's doing, you're not doing anything. You're letting the computer be like, okay, we'll just have us have a conversation about Game of Thrones episode 4 next week, guys.
But let's go back. Should we wrap it up?
I'm down. I think we covered the whole episode.
We covered a lot of it, but we appreciate everybody hanging out. Rosewood, you're awesome for coming back. Marco, thank you so much for sticking around and sticking through the technical difficulties that we had earlier. We appreciate you coming back.
Thanks, guys. Me and Nima like to, since you're the only few people watching, we love talking about the AI stuff and such other
things,
technology things.
You got away with words, Remy. But everybody, thank you so much. Have a great night. We'll be back in just a few days for episode 4.
Yep, in Spanish.
That's right? It's been 10 years since like my Spanish classes. This is embarrassing, but
4, yeah.
Anyway,
1, 2, 3, 4.
Good job. Have a great night, everybody. I'm Nima.
Were you telling good job to me?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, man. Good job to you.
Well, I mean, that's
I'm Remy.
Bye, everybody. Oh, man. Good job, buddy, old pal.
That was a good one.
Your mom was a good one.
That was a good episode, Nima.